my dream, as you would appreciate, coming from Scotland, was to be a professional football player, which is, almost every young boy's and probably many, girls' dreams. And I lived for that. You know how it is. I played 3 or 4 games of football or soccer every single week from the age of 12, and I was playing representative football. So I dreamed of that, and I got my chance. One day I got my chance. I had a apprenticeship offer for a first division club back then. Sorry, second division club, which is first division now, which was Southend United, which meant that I would have to travel on 2 trains, at 15, 2 hours there, 2 hours back, and it was, logistically, it was a big stretch, especially as I worked at school on my O-levels and then A-levels. So I was confronted with this decision of I'd finally got the opportunity of everything that I dreamed of, but it was highly impractical. And so I had to make a decision pretty quickly, and I made a decision with my head instead of my heart, because I just needed to finish my my school studies, and I regretted it from that moment on. I regretted it for the next 20 years. And my pathway, I think I worked pretty hard, but when the really crunch decisions came, I chose sometimes, probably more than sometimes, the path of instant gratification. Right. So least amount of effort, most amount of enjoyment and gratification, and that kind of snowballed as well. So that meant I probably had a few vices. I definitely had a few vices. I won't disclose all of them. I'll start with drinking, with alcohol. When I was around that time at 15, I'd leg it out of school with my mate, and we'd go down the pub down in Welland, and we'd have a couple of beers and play some Space Invaders. And so that kind of, I got distracted. You go chasing things and probably drank a bit too much. I actually started smoking when I was 16. Right. And so that kind of regret built. I was kind of taking the easier road, and I would have too many beers with anyone, and I would start saying, I could have been a professional soccer player in the UK. And when you're in Australia, that's kind of pretty impressive. And I said it enough times that I started to feel shame in myself, because it was motivated by ego, and the truth was that I didn't, and I could have, but I didn't take that risk. I didn't take that chance because it was, as you would know, it's a bit of a long shot. And my shame just grew more, my regret grew more. So I would look I'd look myself in the mirror, as we do, the mirror test, and I had got to the point that I was deeply uncomfortable with what I saw looking back at me. And so I knew I needed to change my life.